Yo, I'm gonna put this character down in C tier. I don't really like her like that, but I don't want to disrespect her by putting her in the same tier as. I'm gonna drop down to D tier. What is up, YouTube? So today's video we have a tier list of all the Zenless Zone Zero characters. I have no idea what any of the Zenless Zone Zero characters does. I think that like there's the white wolf he kicks. Like that's pretty much it. I know that the girl with the green jacket has a sword. Pretty sure it's like a lightning sword because I know from the last video that I watched. Then there is a blue character, and I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that character has ice because the character is blue. I'm telling you, that's all I know about this game. So I've been wanting to like get in and learn some more about this game. So we're gonna react to a tier list, because if we react to the tier list, I would assume that this person is going to start talking about what each of the characters do and why they're good and where he's putting them on the tier list. So this will give us a little bit of insight on what characters people think are good, what characters do, like what their fighting style is, what their weapons are, what their, I guess, element is, and just different stuff like that, and like what teams they might go on, or if they're a support or a DPS. Let's find out about these characters, because I don't know anything about these characters, and I need to know. I need to know who I'm going to be pulling for. Let's check it out.
In today's video, we're going to do a tier list for Zenless Zone Zero, one of the most anticipated games of the year. Now, I did have a chance to play in all the betas, and I've come to the conclusion that every single one of these units is actually fantastic. It doesn't matter if they're an A or S tier unit, all of these agents do have a certain use.
It looks like some characters I'm gonna like because of their weapon, and some characters I'm gonna like because of the character model. Like there was the character that had the, like, at first I didn't think I was gonna like her. Let me see if I can go back to
it. Doesn't matter.
This character, wait, no.
It's for Zenless Zone Zero.
This character right here, right? Her weapon looks really cool. I don't know if it's like an SMG or if it looks like a nail gun or something like that, or SMG nail gun. But Grace Howard is her name down here. This weapon looks really cool. I hope that the weapon is as cool as it actually looks. If it's an SMG, like a SMG nail gun or something like that, I'm not even joking. That's what it looks like to me. I would like this character because her design like looks kind of boring. Like her character model looks kind of boring, but compared to some of the other characters with more colors and stuff like that. But the weapon looks really cool. And then you have other characters like the character with the green, and then Nicole. Her character model looks pretty good. And then you got Billy's character model looks pretty cool. His weapons look, it is what it is. I don't know if this game has a weapon banner or not. I guess we'll find that out, but I don't know if that's the case. If this game doesn't have a weapon banner and it just has characters, I wonder what the like artifacts are going to be, and the things that you have to grind for to gear your character up. So
one of the most anticipated games of the year. Now, I did have a chance to play in all the betas, and I've come to the conclusion that every single one of these units is actually fantastic. It doesn't matter if they're an A or S tier unit, all of these agents do have a certain use, but some of them are obviously better than the rest. So let's cover which ones you should be using, and which ones you might not enjoy as much. Now, the first unit I do want to start things off with is Ben. Ben is actually one of the best units in this game, as you slowly start.
Why does he have to be one of the best units in the game? Like, I don't want to play Big Bear Guy. Like, I don't want to play Big Bear Guy with big cinder block sword thing. So, like, I mean, I won't be playing him, but like, I mean, no, I guess I don't think I just won't be playing him. Like, if I pull this character, I still wouldn't play him. I don't like him. Like, there's just other cool characters that like I would pick over him, and the fact that he's like one of the best. It seems like all the characters that I don't like are the best. Like, it's either like the small little girl characters in the maid outfits, or like gigantic bear character with chain are like the best characters in the game. But then like all the cool looking characters are like mid. Like, dude, give me a break. Give me some top tier characters that I like, so I could pull for that character, use them, and have a lot of fun.
To get dupes for him, and it's not a very tough task. Ben is probably one of our best units
S-tier?
just because he has an infinite parry, meaning he can basically go ahead and take 0 damage. All the top players do use him. He has an absolute ton of invincibility frames, meaning he can basically never take damage. You can keep dishing it out. He is a little bit clunky to play, but in a game where HP recovery isn't a thing, he is the one unit that will let you survive.
Cool.
A lot of people are sleeping on him just because they don't realize the value he does have, and I will have a video of this in the future detailing why Ben is such an amazing unit. You get tons of dupes for him, increasing his damage, increasing his skill levels, meaning he's a unit you will use in a game where S tier units are the easiest to come across, especially when dupes are just so valuable. These level additions here will contribute towards so much damage, increasing the damage your skills do. So that's why as an A tier unit, one you can get easy dupes for, and one that does have a solid kit, you want to definitely add Ben as an addition to your team. He does have a higher skill ceiling, but that does not matter. Once you start playing him, you'll finally get used to him, and you'll realize the value he does have. He also goes fantastically with Koleda. They provide a fantastic unison. Their ultimates basically work with each other. They have one of the only tag team ultimates, and if you didn't know, Koleda, when linked up with Ben, does get even more invincibility frames, making that combination even better. Overall, they have a lot of unique abilities once paired together.
Is it because they're both from like the same like faction or something?
Outlining all the abilities they do get.
Look, they have the same
so you have to use these two units together since they just work so fantastically with each other. But on the topic of Koleda, I don't think she's one of the best units we have. That's why I do put her in our B tier. Though if you have Ben on your team and you combine the two, I would say their set drops him off in the A tier, but using Ben alone is already manageable. You don't necessarily need Koleda, but when you kit them together, they work fantastically in unison. The reason why I wouldn't put Koleda in our A tier or S tier is just because her kit is a little bit strange to use. I don't personally like the movement for skills. She does deal a lot of damage, but overall I do feel like we have much better units, ones that have a more complete kit. Although her ultimate deals an absolute ton of damage, it has extremely high multipliers, but overall that's not enough to make her one of our better units. Regardless, if you get a bunch of dupes for her, she still is lacking that magic factor to her. That's why I do put her in our B tier. Now, one unit I'm sure everyone knows is fantastic would have to be Ellen. Ellen, or Shark Girl as I like to call her, is probably the best and easiest unit to use in this game. I know a lot of people say she has a skill ceiling, but honestly, she is so simple to use. She has insane movement speed. She's able to just dash, and she has that unique ability where her dash does leave her running, making reaching mobs so much easier. And one of the best things about Ellen is that she's very self-sustaining. You don't really need to rely on other units. Obviously, you want more ice units on your team to provide more and more of these shatters, and also the additional crowd control effects by freezing your enemies. But the penetration she has passively and the additional crit she gets makes her such a high damage dealing unit, and her skills basically all have some sort of AoE, meaning you're able to mob so much easier. She does freeze enemies, so putting her on a team with lots of ice elementals is a good choice. We have Vaughn here, who is a perfect addition to our team. The same goes for this unit here, Sokok, who is another ice elemental you want to have on your team. Those three in conjunction were a team I always used in the beta. Their gameplay style was so easy. You just swapped them in one after the other. You were able to freeze the enemies, dealing that ice shatter damage. So that's why these two units as well are a great addition. I know a lot of people don't like Sukaku, but I do feel like she's in our B tier. She did get nerfed in betas quite a lot, but she's still a fantastic unit. And one good thing about Sukaku is once she enters her mass state, she deals even more days for 15 seconds. So once you use her ultimate, you're able to get additional passives, making her even better. It just matters what team you put her on. Alone, she doesn't really deal too much damage. She does freeze, she has a ton of AoE, but with the right team, you can make her a fantastic unit. The same goes for Vaughn. but he is a standalone unit. He
I
is
really don't want to use that
fantastic.
character.
He's able to spam his skills, and that's why I put him in the A tier. He is a very, very
I'd just rather
powerful
use a
unit.
character with swords
so
and guns.
basically, to sum up Vaughn, he deals a ton of damage through his ice capabilities. He has very powerful daze attacks, actually probably being one of the best daze applicators in the game, being able to apply a ton of daze just because he's able to spam his abilities so easily. He's also able to apply that crowd control that we all need to our enemies with ease. So with Ellen on your team with Vaughn, you'll have no issues at all. He's basically needed for any ice comp.
Please, somebody power creep this
Otherwise,
character.
you may struggle a bit.
Power creep this
So
character
by himself,
immediately.
he may not be the best, but on a nice team, he is so fantastic to have. And he might not have the absolute best survivability, but he is certainly an easy unit to use. You can spam his skill so easily, and that's why I do really enjoy using him. And speaking of another unit I definitely do enjoy using, I personally did sleep on this unit myself. We have Alex, and she is such an amazing long-range unit. It is
Really?
so hard for the enemies to reach her.
Is she
You
a
can
puppet
just
character?
stand back, deal a ton of damage, do a ton of AoE,
Oh, she's
and
like a
never
mage.
have to worry about being hit. She's a fantastic electric support DPS unit, providing a ton of bursts through her skills. Once you use her, you'll never want to go back, since other
I won't
units
be.
do have to confront the enemies. But with Alex, you can just stand back, deal a ton of damage, never take any damage yourself. She does have a higher skill ceiling, but once you
How?
get used to using
How
her,
does she have a
her
higher skill
damage
ceiling
and
if-
debuffs she provides her team make her a valuable
You just
addition
never have
to
to
any
stay away,
team
just run
lineup,
away.
which is exactly why I'm putting her at the top of our A tier. She has some amazing assets. Now, another unit that does get slept on would have to be Nicole. Nicole is one of the only ether units we have, though we have this new unit here. We have Zhu as well. She is
Oh, yeah.
another recently added ether unit.
I'm
They are
probably gonna
both
main her.
fantastic, but Nicole is certainly one of the best mobbers we have. She has a
Yes,
ton
sir.
of AoE. She's able to just suck in the enemies, allowing you to deal with them very, very easily. She's a must-have on any team.
Suck in the enemies,
Her
huh?
playstyle is super simple. She's a range unit. She has a lot of range abilities that do make her a very simple unit to use. Her ether damage just makes her even better, allowing you to dish out more damage than you would otherwise be able to. So that's why I do recommend you try out Nicole, a very easy unit to get. And as I've noted before, it doesn't matter if they're an S or an A agent. You can basically go through this game without a single S tier unit. A rank agents are fantastic in this game, and
Oh, and
that's why I
Nicole
love
and the-
mods on
and the
Zone
cop
0.
character
But I know
with
we
the gun.
just talk about mobbing abilities, and Nekomiya is one of, if not the best mobbers in this game. This is exactly why she ends up in our S tier. You'll love to use her. She'll make playing through this game so much easier.
Yeah, pass.
She has fantastic speed. She's able to rush in, basically attacking every single enemy on the screen.
The only
Her
thing-
ultimate does that very, very easily, making your life so much easier. And with Nekomata,
she remind me
she's
of,
basically able to deal
X23.
some of the highest damage in this game.
Like,
I
when
said
she's fighting.
earlier, she's such a fast unit. Her abilities are applied so quickly. You can swap her in and out with ease. You're able to just hop around enemies, especially towards her back, avoiding attacks while also dealing a ton of damage. So she may be short and small, but she's a very, very powerful agent. Now, one agent that certainly doesn't get much love would have to be Corrin. Early on, she's actually not
Bull
very
looking.
strong. If she didn't get any dupes easily, I would probably have to put her in our C tier, but as you play, you'll get a ton of dupes for her. It'll be very easy, considering she's an A tier unit. Her dupes provide her a ton of stack.
She must be
She's
like
one of
a
those
story
units that
character
completely
something.
shreds bosses as she gets her dupes in. She is not a unit that should ever be slept on. I'll showcase her in the future, showing you just how fantastic of a unit she is. Once you get all her stacks in when she has 6 dupes, she'll deal so much damage. So that's why as you do more summons and you acquire multiple copies of her, you're able to absolutely spec her up, and that is exactly why I do put her in our A tier. She is not a unit you should be sleeping on. Though some things I have against Corrin, although
will.
she's able to absolutely shred apart the enemy's physical resistance,
sleep on her.
she is
Just like I slept on Verena and Encore, but I have 2 Encores. I literally I pulled an Encore and an Encore dupe in Withering Waves in the same pull. In the 10 pull, I pulled Encore twice. I didn't care about that character, but I couldn't get Yinlin though.
very short ranged, making her a little bit hard to play. You basically have to wait for her skill to resolve in that very short range you're given. Though on a physical team, she's basically one of the best additions. You just have to get used to her playstyle. With her on your team, you'll be able to shred apart any hollows that come your way. But one unit I can't personally get behind would have to be Anton. This is honestly a personal choice. I would have to put him in our C tier. I'm sure he's an alright unit, but I never enjoyed using him once.
He put him in C tier because he's a dude.
He's not a unit I got much playing with, just because I got sick and tired of playing him, and I consider myself a very casual gamer, so I think my opinion is representative of everyone else. Anton is not a unit I would use if I played this game.
Yeah, but how good is he? So far, this character is the only character that you said that is in C tier, but you just didn't like him because you're not fond of him. Other characters seem to be more where you were talking about, like, well, they were good because of this and good because of that. Is this character good and you just don't like him and he should be higher? Because, like, maybe he's like, not saying skill issue or anything, but like maybe he has like some like high skill like tech or whatever that he can use to like do high damage or something like that, right? Or like something like that. Maybe he's like really good, but like he's not easy to play and not like necessarily fun to play unless you know how to do his like high skill tech. So something like that.
Even if I had multiple dupes of him, so that's exactly why I put him on our C tier. He's just not very good. He doesn't have very redeemable qualities.
Really?
He does have the electric damage that does deal a dot over time, but honestly, that doesn't give him a redeeming quality, putting him in our C tier. Now, speaking of electric units, one unit that is very good, and you will definitely enjoy using her, would have to be Grace. I would personally say Grace would go in the middle of our A tier. I would say all of these units here do have varying uses. None of them are better than the others, but they all have their specific use case scenarios. Grace as well. Her abilities overall are fantastic. She has a lot of penetration, so she's able to deal a lot of damage, and her skills do have a lot of AoE, and her dodge is very unique, making her very easy to play, just like Ellen, like I mentioned earlier. She recharges her skills very easily, and overall for a unit that deals a lot of electric damage, she is fantastic to add to your team. Getting that shock off is so vital, and she makes it so easy to do. Now, the next unit I have up here is Billy. He is a fan favorite for sure. I would honestly say he goes in our A tier as well. I know our A tier is filling up. It's just because none of these units are actually bad, with the exception of Antoine. I don't like him, but everyone else has their own use case scenarios. Billy, as you know, is one of the best range supporters we have. He will quickly fill up the assault gauge just because his skills do let him do that, and he has a surprising amount of AoE. His ultimate basically hits the entire screen, and you really don't need to aim him, so his skill cap is very low. You do start out using him in the beginning, and that's when you know he is a unit that definitely shouldn't be slept on. If you're a very casual player, you can just sit back, deal a lot of damage, and not have to worry about dying anytime soon.
Sitting back.
Now, one recently released unit would have to be Zhu. Zhu is another ether unit we have, and her playstyle is absolutely insane. She just jumps around the field, dealing a ton of damage. Obviously, she's built for DPS, as you see here. She's a fantastic unit to have on a team with Nicole. They work so well together, being both ether units. So in conjunction, you should definitely use them both on a team. She will be one of those characters that are highlighted in the release, so you should definitely summon for her. This is why she'll also go in our S tier.
Oh, okay. So Nicole, and what is this character's name?
I would personally put her right here. Although all these units are good, you could put her here as well. It just depends on your playstyle. Personally, I like Nicole, but a lot of people do prefer Zhu over Nicole, just because.
That's not Nicole, right? Why does he keep pointing at the other character? So, yeah, this character right here, this character, and who's the third of my team? I think her. Like, I think that's my team right there. 1, 2, 3. That's gonna be my main team. I got to pull for him probably, but like hopefully I can get him, and that'll be my main team.
Because she's slightly less clunky, but overall this is what I prefer. Ellen just has a lot of AoE which I enjoy, her playstyle is extremely easy, and Ben and Nicole are just so valuable to have on a team, but Zhu by herself is obviously an amazing unit. Now we have 2 units left. We have both our sword wielders. Now it's a tough call where I want to put these. We do have Soldier 11. She's obviously
Soldier
one of
11
our
looks
S
cool.
agents, but I really don't like her playstyle too much. I never enjoyed playing her during the betas. If I had to critique one unit, it would be her. For an S agent, she's definitely not built to be played easily. Some people might disagree,
That's fine.
but I would put her right here in our B tier. Now I know she's one of our main
If the thing is about this tier list, it seems like he's putting characters in, well, except for the blue chick and the chick with the red hair. Well, no, I think he kind of did the same thing with her, because he said he didn't like her that much and didn't like this Soldier 11 that much. And he didn't like Anton that much. So he put all the characters that he didn't like in low tier, even though he said that the characters could have, like, they, like, if you don't know if somebody else is playing them, their playstyle could, you know, work and be very good, but he just didn't like the characters. Now, I mean, I haven't played the characters, so I don't know, but like, I feel like if the character has some type of like specific type of tech or some like specific way, like to play them to get their DPS up, or they just have like this very specific way to play them, and you have to learn that because you can't just like mash it out, then I feel like it would be fun to learn those characters and learn their tech and make them really good based on like how you use them, right? So like those characters are like Soldier 11 might be S tier if you can do her tech, right? Like I don't know if she has it, but that's what I'm saying is like a character's like if you're using a character and you can't do the things that make the character good, then of course the character is going to feel bad. But like if you could mash with the character and you just mash and like they do tons and tons and tons of damage, you don't really got to think that much. That character is definitely going to be good, but are they going to be fun to play? So
fire units that deal a ton of damage. She does have that burn effect as well, and when you have multiple fire units on her team, it's easy to generate more and more energy, and she has a lot of damage stacking passives, but overall, I just did not enjoy her play. It doesn't matter how much damage a unit does, if they're not easy to play, they are not a unit you should be using. And the same concept.
I'm gonna disagree there, buddy. I thought that he was going to say that no matter how much damage a character does, if you're not enjoying the character or if the character's not fun to play, then don't play the character if you don't want to play them, right? You know what I mean? That makes more sense to me. But playing a character and no matter how much damage the character does, to say if the character's not easy to use, then you shouldn't be using them. That sound a little skill issue-ish. A little skill issue-ish. Like I'm not gonna say that I know how to play these characters. I don't know anything about this game yet. But like in terms of all, fighting games and that I've played and all these other games that I've played, it's like, well, if a character is a little difficult to play, like if you give it your best shot at trying to learn the character and you can't do the things, then yeah, maybe don't play the character. Spend your time playing another character. Don't waste your resources on that character. Maybe learn that character later, level that character up later on in the game if you really want to play that character and learn it. But like, just because the character is a little bit difficult to play, and that doesn't mean you should like not use that character because they're not easy to use. It's just that like you have a little bit of learning to do before you like unlock what the character's potential is. You know what I mean? So.
Some applies to Anby as well. She is a solid unit. She is another electric DPS we have. She's able to apply a ton of days, which allows her to be a good unit, but overall, her damage output is quite weak. I feel like we have so many better units you can use on a team. She's an A agent, but I would honestly put her in our C tier. I do not enjoy using her at all. and I don't want to insult her by putting her in the same tier as Anton, so I'm going to put him in our D tier.
What?
I just really
Bro, you gotta stick to one type of tier list. The top half of your tier list can't be the characters that are good, and then the bottom half of the tier list can't be the characters that you just don't like. It's not the same thing. Like if your whole tier list was like characters that are cool that I like, and characters that I think suck and are boring, like or have a tier list where it's like the top half of the tier list, these characters are super easy to use, and the bottom characters are super hard to use. Like, yeah, do that. You can have like you got like 3 different tier lists in this one tier list. It's like, yo, I'm gonna put this character down in C tier. I don't really like her like that, but I don't want to disrespect her by putting her in the same tier as Anton. I'm gonna drop Anton down to D tier. He not that bad, but I don't like him. So get your ass down there. It's like, what if Anton is actually really good, or at least he's like maybe A tier, maybe B tier? Why he all the way down in D tier? I don't like him. He don't look cool enough. Like, I want to know if the character is good or not. Oh my god.
don't like using him. So this would be representative of what I like in this game. Zenless Zone 0 allows you to use any character as long as you do understand the agents you are using. You're able to pull them off. You can absolutely fly by this game by just using A agents. You don't have to get all those S agents to play this game. It is not a requirement. This game is very, very casual friendly, but I would have to say
I would argue that all gotcha games are casual friendly because they want the casual players, because casual players are way more abundant than hardcore players. Always. There's never a game where there are more hardcore players than casual players. That is like a large, thriving game is what I'm talking about. Not talking about some like dead game that's like 10, 15 years old, 20 years old, and like only the hardcore players ever play the game anymore, and a couple of noob casual people come in there every once in a while to play. That's not what I'm talking about. A large billion player, or whatever, billion, couple of 300 million player game, 400 million player game or whatever. Was it 300 or 400 million, or was it 30 million? Was it 30 million? It was 30 or 40 million. Maybe I went a little bit too high there. But whatever the case is, if it's a very, very large game like that, they're going to want the casual players to play the game so that they spend the money on the game. So like every player who plays the game is not looking to do all the hardcore content, all of the the hardest content in the game. They just want to get their characters, they want to get their waifus, and they want to just run around and slap some stuff with a sword. They don't really worry about gearing their character correctly or anything like that. They just want their characters. They want their cool characters. New character banner come out. They want to pull on that banner and get that character and fall in love with that character or whatever. Right? That's the gotcha game way, pretty much, right? For casual players anyway.
Once you do understand your agents more, which you'll have further videos on explaining, the playstyles are very important. Once you lock those in, you can use any number of agent combinations. Obviously, there are ideal teams you should use, such as matching up the elements, so using Vaughn, using Ellen, using Sukaku on a team. You want to just stack those crowd control effects, those freezes, that ice damage, so don't worry too much about pulling the best unit. I will also have a reroll guide as well, but overall you can't really go wrong with any of these units besides Anton.
I did not reroll Withering Waves. I had no idea what, trying to reroll. I was like, I don't need to reroll. I'll just do what I do. But maybe I will reroll on this game and see if I can get like whatever the best case scenario is. I take a couple of hours and just roll for whatever I guess whatever the best stuff is, or whatever I wanted in the beginning, and then go on from there. I don't know how many times I'll do it. I'll think about it. Not sure exactly how many times I'll try to do it if I do reroll, but we'll see. It depends on what I get first. I might not even do it at all, but you know, maybe the next gacha game, maybe Project Mugen or something like that.
I don't like him. So yeah, this should cover the early tier list for Zenless Zone Zero.
This is not. This is not. This is the best agents. This is not even the best agents. This is, I guess, part of it is. Part of this tier list is the best agents. This should have been like, my I don't know, the agents I enjoyed the most tier list, or something like that.
Most units are fantastic, but some units just feel very clunky to use. I'm sure everyone will have their own opinions. These are just my explicit biased opinions through playing this game. I'm sure everyone's tier list will be different. This is just my version,
not the theory crafters.
So don't go too hard on me.
Maybe theory
just
crafters
let
will
me
be
know what your
slightly
opinions
different.
are.
But theory crafters will be slightly different. But you know, it is what it is. I still knew nothing about the characters, so now I know a little bit more about the characters. So that's all I'm asking. That's why I'm watching all this stuff, to find out as much as I can about Zenless Zone Zero. And I will see you guys in the next video. Give them a like real quick. Good video, man. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.